We're going to look at getting from position 4 into 5 and how you do it, what the thinking is behind it. Whether you're as precise as I'm going to describe it, it doesn't matter too much. But so let's just, position 1 is just standing like this. Okay, so with all the grounding stuff that we can do, we're getting the body upright, we're trying to get ourselves totally balanced in terms of well, obviously the ordinary balance, not falling over, but the feeling of everything relaxed in all directions, for up, down, left, right, forwards, backwards. And so because there's no arm action, it's easy. 2, we're in this position, knees are bent. So you can bend your knees a bit or not. It doesn't really matter for the moment. 3, you're going to go into this position, and we looked at how you use your lower back. As you go from here, you actually connect to the lower back and possibly even do more of a pelvic tilt there to get to 3. Then we looked at how you get from here to that position. So the thinking here is elastic from elbow to hip, and it's on both sides, and it's as though the elastic contracts and draws your elbows downwards until they're about, the upper arm's about 45 degrees, and now a little bit of gentle push down with the palms towards the end. So again, very like whenever you lower your arms, it's that action here, and lowering, same idea. And we're going to the outside corners here. So if you see where my hands are, they're not dead ahead of me like this. They are out to the corners, but my elbows are not out. They're sunk. Rather than pulled in, they are sunk. And now we have to, you can stand up, so we don't have to stay sitting for this. So now you're going to go from here to this position to this position. So we're going to use the concept of just lowering your arms generally to get there. So in the Qigong, it's a bit like you have a pause halfway between, in the process of lowering your arms, okay? So let's just bring the arms up here somewhere. Yeah, okay, bring them up here. And then you push the arms out to the left and right. You get to about halfway. Now you connect your elastic, but relax under here. Relax under your rib cage, or side of your rib cage, and let the elbows settle. Okay, and then the hands will carry on down. We don't want the arms to carry on right down like this. It's too far. And also this is trapping, what they call blocking chi or trapping chi. So you're here. And now, if you were going to carry on lowering your arms just normally, but leaving the arms in this position, you would now just lower the hands and you'd let your fingers come in if we're not going to move this at all here, the upper arm. So we have connect to the hip, close rib cage, all the same kind of concept, and then little bit lower, notice, than the elbow with the wrist. And then I need to feel as though the energy, which was here, that's where my main point of energy is at the moment, is on the elbows. But now the main point of energy goes towards the wrists, haven't got there yet. And now I almost feel like I'm taking it, well, I don't almost, I always do. I feel like I'm taking it to here next, or even passing through the palm, and then joint by joint till I reach the tips of the fingers. So it looks like this. I get to here, and I feel wrists now pushing down, but I see I haven't moved my upper arm. Elbows are still in the same place. And now I'm at the palm, I'm moving through the middle of the palm, I'm on the inside of the knuckle, and now I'm reaching the tips of my fingers, and then I simply let the arms come into here, and I feel as though there's a left and right expansion without doing that. So this is kind of almost like a bit of a contraction in a sense, in the fact that the elbows have come in. I leave them there, and then I go right down to the tips of my fingers, and then when I lift to here, I feel as though I've got an expanded balloon or circle in front of me down there, because this is definitely not a balloon. You could argue that two hands are resting on two balloons here, if you like, or two aerobics balls. You know, you're resting your arms there, and that actually is the feeling you should have, as though you're literally resting your arms on something and letting the elbows hang off the middle. So the ball is over here. There it is, large ball over there somewhere, same on the other side. And the elbow literally just dropping, yeah? So that's how we get from there to there. So it starts here. Yeah, forget your feet. Push out sideways. Now, elastic feeling, elbows connecting to hip. Okay, we've arrived. Okay, now the hands drop a little bit further. That's position 4. We're in it. We would hold that for a few minutes or whatever. So now, leave your elbows where they are. Think to your wrists. Take your attention there. Now to the middle of your palms. Now to the inside of your knuckles. In other words, this bit here. And then down through the finger joints to the tips of the fingers. And now you're going to just turn your fingers to point at each other. And there's a feeling of the elbows doing this, but don't do it. Don't go like that suddenly. So it feels like this is now the outside point of left and right. Whereas before, this was the outside point. We've now changed the outside point to here. So this is the 5th and final position in the Qigong set. So let's do it. Not going to be holding it for ages. I've got too many other things to do, but let's give it a run through. Okay, so grounding position, not for long. Feet in the middle, weight in the middle of your feet. Drop your pelvis, drop your shoulder blades. Relax the point between your shoulder blades, which is approximately near the top-ish, thoracic 3 and 4, and feel like that is a little mouth in your back or a gap closing and settling and just releasing and relaxing, because in mobile phone computer position that tends to open out. So relax the upper back, shoulders dropping, relax your neck. Okay, that's all I'm going to do on it. So moving on, position 2, do a pelvic tilt. Yeah, no knee bending. And then I'm just lifting the hands up ahead of me, and now I'm expanding ahead, tucking my bum under, just like we did before. And you are in the second position, which we're not necessarily going to hold. More stuff to think about here eventually, to do with your palms. So just for the moment, allow the bones in your palms to separate. Allow them to, don't make them, because you can't really make them. So your thumbs and your fingers are quite nicely open here. Yeah, it's all rounded. I'm not doing cock the wrist. This is just tension on the back of here and tension on the inside, overstretch and tension on the inside. So you're there. Next, we're going to feel like the elbows push ahead and up. And at the same time, you're going to engage your lower back a little bit more to make that happen. So use your lower back like that's the winch on the crane, lifting your arms up. Okay, that's position 3. Are your shoulders relaxed? You need to double check that, because if they've lifted even slightly, there's no way you could hold this position. 4, you now, elastic from elbows to hips, down you go. Okay, I've got to about 45, and now I just let the hands go further. Okay, they're definitely left and right of me, but not literally left and right. They're slightly forwards. I've got a large satellite dish in the front of me here, facing you. Okay, that's the bowl of the dish facing you. I haven't got my elbows up. I've let them sink. I'm resting on a couple of aerobics balls. So a couple of large balls sitting on the floor there. I'm resting my hands on it, which means if I did that, I could just let my elbows relax. Okay, this all relaxes under here. Okay, now into 4. So 5, sorry. So wrists, down the palm, inside of the knuckle, through the fingers, tips of fingers. And now I just move in, and I feel like the arms are expanded left and right here. Excuse me, I've got a cough. Too much talking. So in this position, I feel as though if someone were to come and stand in front of me, and I'm going to have to move my hands to demonstrate this, and they were going to put their hands on my elbows and try and squeeze my elbows together, I wouldn't be pushing out, but I certainly wouldn't let them squeeze me inwards. So, as in all these positions, you've done a pelvic tilt, your bum's tucked under, and you're very conscious of the spine opening around the lumbars and maybe the lower thoracics as well. Well, no, definitely the lower thoracics as well, but what I'm thinking of is that because you release your neck, actually the whole spine lengthens and literally undoes, as if that's the vertebrae on your spine opening. You can't make it happen. You can only relax and give it the idea, take your attention to it, and also take possibly your intention. But you have to bear in mind that intention is also a form of stress. Okay, it's albeit very gentle stress, but nonetheless, it is a form of stress. So all I'm doing is I'm dropping my bum, so my spine feels really heavy down the bottom. And I'm just now consciously relax the back of my neck. I now just feel, as I do that, that the kidney area is undoing, as though the lumbar spine, the S-bend has come out of it slightly, if not completely. And as if, actually, I just feel as though my spine is just undone the whole way up to my neck. Very satisfying feeling. So now just lower your hands and stand up. Yeah. Good. I thoroughly recommend you practice this exercise. As I keep saying, watch the TV, watch something, preferably a comedy, not a horror. Watch something that you can actually practice it in front of.